You might be aware that today we will be discussing a lot about AI safety landscape, and you might wonder what exactly is what we mean as AI safety landscape. I would say it's like a category or like a bone that supports all the flesh of what we discussed yesterday in our presentations and all those papers. When we were talking about traditional safety engineering, it's usually lack of considering the autonomous itself of the system. But AI safety has been recognized as a legitimate domain recently, and we think that it should be more valuable if we have more consensus in the terminology and its meaning towards aligning different conversations we have in this field. And by providing a safety landscape, we try to focus on the generally accepted knowledge so that most of the concerns that people have can fall into this category. The target of today's workshop, hopefully, we should be able to bring together the relevant initiatives and leaders, and throughout this discussion of different invited talks and panel discussions, we will be able to provide a series of workshop reports summarizing the discussions about what we discussed today and the subfields that we acknowledged to outline the needs, challenges, practices, and gaps. And we hope that we are synchronized with other related initiatives which was discussed in the previous conversations over the last few years. For example, here are the initiatives that we consider as very important, which is, first one, the Future of Life Institute's Safety Research Landscape, which was an input for the Brainstorm of Beneficial AI conference in 2017. It includes or highlights a lot of different areas or topics of research that we could look into. And then the Assuring Autonomy International Program, their body of language specifically focused at robotics and autonomous systems. Then DeepMind specification, which provides a straightforward outline of what we discussed in AI safety. So these are the tentative landscape categories. For you to easier read and follow, I typed all this category over here. So we hope, first, this is a tentative one, it's a preliminary version, and we hope that over our discussions today and maybe in the future, we will be able to provide a more systematic and format to see what are the major areas of considerations when we talk about AI safety. So that includes AI safety foundations, which includes many theoretical foundations. For example, some of our talks about safe RL and exploration yesterday falls into this category. And specification and modeling refers to how can we accurately describe what we want into the specific requirements when we try to engineer and design the agent itself. And afterwards, at design time, how can we verify and validate whether the system is doing what we intended to do? Then during runtime, because of the black box property of AI system, we need to continue monitoring how and observing how it interacts with the external environment, and how can we observe it so that it can self-adapt and evolve, maybe optimize itself towards a better goal, and how can we keep it still keep it aligned when it's running. And then human-machine interaction. This is probably easier to understand just by reading at it. And yesterday we've also talked about when machines are increasingly to take power and control of the decisions, how can humans change our way of interacting with a machine so that we can have more trust in it and we can better interact with it. And then the process assurance, for example, how can we make sure that the machine, the AI system itself meets the requirements that we specified previously? And certification especially refers to law and compliance. because of the uncontrollability of AI's behavior, it imposes a challenge for us to see how can we make sure that it's still behaving well within the law's boundary after we get it running. And then safety-related ethics, because as the AI takes more responsibility into decision-making, how can we reframe the way we understand AI ethics and machine ethics? Then security and privacy, as we talked yesterday with federated learning, and with how can we improve the robustness of the system so it can better handle the adversarial examples, etc. So these are the tentative categories that we think are very important to fall into our consideration when we talk about AI safety problems. And its goal is to provide a structured discussions towards a consistent view of AI safety. And then we also recognize the complexity of establishing such a category, because when there are scattered points around AI safety over the last few years, it makes it a little bit difficult to put everything into a very structured way and provide an overview that includes almost everything. So we hope that during our discussions today and possibly in the future, we are able to continue modifying and improving the categories so that we can provide a better description or overview of what exactly do we mean by AI safety. The way of working today is that we will have a lot of face-to-face meetings, we will have a lot of invited talks and panel discussions, and hopefully through that panel discussions, we'll be able to grasp a deeper understanding of these important categories of AI safety and outlining a high-level categorization of this field and possibly planning some follow-up actions. And then, hopefully in the future that we can continue this line of research in a more structured and directed way. And there will be a lot of different talks and panels, which we thank again for all of our invited speakers for them to present here today. And this is the program, which you can also find it on our website. We will have interchangeably some invited talks and panels. And then in the afternoon, we'll have other talks, then wrap up of this two-day workshop. We would like to thank again for the generosity of the sponsorship from Assuring Autonomy, Partnership on AI, and Center of the Study of Existential Risk for their generosity in supporting our events these 2 days. And